Breaking. Trump just delivered his most devastating blow yet to Britain's film industry. And what happened next has sent shockwaves across two continents. The president threatens a crushing 100% tariff on foreign-made movies, calling it a national security threat.
And that's why we struck the UK-India Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement in July, a breakthrough moment, years in the making, slashing tariffs, increasing access to each other's markets, to drive growth and create jobs for our people, and making life better in both of our nations. And beyond the words on the page of the agreement is the spirit and the confidence that that has given to our two great countries to work even more closely together, something which we've seen evidence during the course of this visit here over the last 2 days. It is significant that we're meeting here in Mumbai as India's economic and financial capital because India's growth story is remarkable. I want to congratulate the Prime Minister on his leadership, aiming to be the world's third largest economy by 2028.
British studios are in complete panic. American investors are pulling billions from London. And now Keir Starmer is desperately running to India, begging Bollywood for salvation.
But I don't think anyone anticipated he would be this bad. He's combined the management style of David Brent with the administrative grip of Blackadder's Baldric. He's proven himself to be a freebie grabbing, free speech stifling, criminal releasing, tax raising, farmer hating, Brexit betraying, aspiration sapping, sorry excuse for a leader. And conference. This is someone who makes a hole in the air look substantial. Peter Mandelson appeared trustworthy, and Mr. Bean looked like a model of competence and grip. But despite all this
isn't just about movies anymore. This is about economic warfare, cultural dominance, and a British Prime Minister who's completely lost control. If you want to stay ahead of stories like this that reshape the global economy, hit that subscribe button right now because what you're about to see will change how you think about international trade wars forever. Here's what sparked the biggest entertainment industry crisis in decades. Just last week, Donald Trump went nuclear on foreign film production. His message was crystal clear. American movie making has been stolen by other countries, and he's going to get it back with devastating force. But Trump wasn't just talking about protecting Hollywood. He exposed something that has the entire global film industry in complete chaos. Government documents show that foreign countries have been offering massive tax incentives to draw American productions away from Hollywood. We're talking about billions in lost revenue, hundreds of thousands of jobs shipped overseas, and America's cultural influence being systematically undermined. Meanwhile, British film studios that have been profiting from this system for decades are suddenly facing economic annihilation. The moral contrast is so stark, so devastating that even Trump's critics can't defend the current system. And if you think this story is shocking so far, just wait, because it gets so much worse. Trump's response was swift and absolute, brutally brutal. In a Truth Social post that reached over 50 million Americans within hours, he declared that no foreign country has the right to steal America's movie-making business. His exact words were chilling. Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. Therefore, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Within hours, the economic hammer fell. British film executives convened emergency meetings as their entire business model collapsed overnight. American studios began canceling overseas productions. The UK film industry, worth over $7 billion annually, faced complete devastation. British tech stocks crashed, billions wiped from the markets in 48 hours. But then something unprecedented happened that nobody saw coming. Keir Starmer, in complete desperation, made an emergency trip to Mumbai to beg India's Bollywood industry for help. At Yash Raj Studios, the British Prime Minister delivered what political watchers are calling the most humiliating performance of his career.
Agreement. It's a huge deal for the United Kingdom, the most ambitious trade deal India has ever done. And like our deals with the US and the EU, people said it would never happen. They said it couldn't be done. But we did it because this government's approach, outward-facing, proud and determined to deliver for Britain. And as a result, we're opening up new opportunities in India for British businesses. Opportunities that other countries simply do not have. It has given us a unique edge. So I've come here this week, leading our biggest trade delegation to India ever, to follow through on this deal. That means 126 CEOs, tech entrepreneurs, SMEs, vice-chancellors, sports and cultural leaders, all here with me to seize the incredible benefits that this deal offers to the British people. The opportunity is clear. Just look at the sheer scale of India, the world's largest democracy, on track to become the third largest economy by 2028, an economic superpower in the making. And we, the UK, are perfectly placed to be partners on that journey. We want to build the sectors and the skills of the future together. So this trade deal is a launchpad to boost British leadership in everything from tech.
Bollywood is back in Britain, Starmer declared with unmistakable desperation, and it's bringing jobs, investment, and opportunity. The optics were absolutely devastating for Britain. A British Prime Minister literally begging a foreign film industry to save his country's economy after Trump's tariff announcement destroyed their entire business model. For the first time in modern history, Britain's leader appeared to publicly admit that his country couldn't compete with American economic pressure. The visual narrative dominating every screen in Britain tells an undeniable story: desperate politicians versus economic reality, foreign dependence versus American strength. Starmer's remaining defenders talk about diversification and new partnerships. But no one cares about diplomatic spin when Trump's tariff threat has exposed Britain's complete vulnerability to American economic power. Every day brings fresh revelations, more leaked documents showing how dependent Britain has become on foreign film production, more heartbreaking stories of British film workers facing unemployment, more viral social media content showing Starmer literally begging foreign countries for economic salvation. The algorithms on every platform are amplifying this content because the humiliation is so intense that the engagement rates are through the roof. The emotional power is so devastating that the content spreads faster than any government response can contain it. This isn't just a trade dispute anymore. It's become the defining symbol of everything wrong with Britain's economic strategy. Completely dependent on foreign goodwill, unable to compete with American economic might, willing to humiliate themselves internationally just to maintain basic economic functions. Social media groups like Britain First Economics have gained over 300,000 members in just 1 week. They're organizing boycotts of foreign films, fundraising for British film workers, and creating viral content that reaches millions daily, showing the stark contrast between Trump's strength and Starmer's weakness. Inside number 10 Downing Street, sources describe an atmosphere of complete panic and economic terror. Ministers who once stood confidently beside Starmer are now quietly plotting their escape routes as the full scale of Britain's economic vulnerability becomes clear. Labour Party officials are privately discussing whether Starmer can survive this level of international humiliation, with some suggesting he should consider stepping down before Trump's tariffs completely destroy what's left of Britain's film industry. The question is no longer whether Starmer can recover from this economic catastrophe. Political analysts agree that his credibility as an economic leader is effectively finished. The only question now is whether Britain can rebuild its film industry without foreign dependence or continue this humiliating cycle of begging other countries for economic survival. Britain is watching a prime minister self-destruct in real time as Trump's economic pressure exposes decades of failed industrial policy. This crisis will be studied for decades as a textbook example of what happens when countries become too dependent on foreign markets and can't compete with American economic power. The trade war is just getting started, and Britain is already losing so badly that their prime minister is literally flying to other countries begging for help. At its epicenter stands a man who looks increasingly desperate, increasingly humiliated, and increasingly finished on the world stage. Trump's tariff wasn't just about protecting American jobs or cultural influence. It was about demonstrating American economic dominance and exposing the weakness of countries that have become too dependent on foreign partnerships. And on that measure, Trump has succeeded so completely that Britain's own prime minister is publicly admitting defeat by begging Bollywood to save his economy. That's not just political defeat. That's historical humiliation that will define Britain's economic relationship with America for generations to come. The announcement that Yash Raj Films will shoot 3 new blockbusters in Britain starting in 2026 isn't a victory. It's a desperate attempt to replace American economic partnership with Indian charity. Creating 3,000 jobs sounds impressive until you realize that Trump's tariff threat could eliminate tens of thousands of jobs in British film production if American studios stop shooting there entirely. The timing tells the real story. Starmer's Mumbai trip happened just days after Trump's tariff announcement. This wasn't planned economic diplomacy. This was panic diplomacy. A British prime minister so terrified of American economic power that he flew halfway around the world to find any alternative to depending on American film production. The contrast with Trump's position couldn't be more stark. While Starmer begs foreign countries for economic crumbs, Trump uses tariff threats to bring entire industries back to America.
Story this morning on the front page is all about the peace deal in Israel. It seems as though Donald Trump, effectively has done a remarkable job of bringing the people around the table. It looks as though the hostages are going to be released sometime on Monday or Tuesday. Britain seems to have been completely bypassed. It's almost as though Keir Starmer has made us an irrelevant country when it comes to global affairs, because Donald Trump clearly didn't want anything to do with Britain. The Israelis clearly don't want anything to do with Britain, given the way that he recognised Palestine as a state, the way that David Lammy threatened to arrest the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, if he came to Britain. It's a kind of shameful place for Britain to be, isn't it?
Well, I think in relation to Israel, the government has made a number of mistakes, and you've highlighted some of them there. But as to the peace deal, look, we should really welcome the fact that we are at least in a position where hopefully very shortly the Israeli hostages will be released. We will be able to be looking at getting humanitarian aid into Gaza more effectively, and our country, of course, can play a very important role in that. We're very used to doing that kind of thing. But I think we should also be quite cautious about where this will go. We've had many stop-starts in the Middle East over many years in these kind of situations, but let's at least welcome the progress that has been made now and hope that this does move to some kind of transitional government arrangements in Gaza that in time can lead to that two-state solution that I think most of us want to see.
While Britain scrambles to replace lost American business, America positions itself to dominate global film production once again. The economic implications extend far beyond movies. If Trump can use tariff threats to force British dependence on alternative markets, what other industries will he target next? British tech companies are already nervous about their American partnerships. British financial services are reconsidering their exposure to American markets. The entire special relationship between Britain and America is being redefined by Trump's willingness to use economic pressure to get what he wants. And Starmer's response proves that Britain has no effective counter to American economic dominance. Instead of strengthening British film production or offering competitive incentives to keep American business, Starmer runs to India hoping Bollywood can somehow replace Hollywood. It's a strategy that reveals complete strategic bankruptcy. The global film industry is watching this unfold with fascination and terror. If Trump can devastate Britain's film sector with a single Truth Social post, what country is safe from American economic pressure? Canada, Australia, and European Union countries that have been offering tax incentives to attract American film production are all reconsidering their positions. The message Trump has sent is unmistakable.
Who sort of sit and harangue and condemn Israel and say, there must be this, there must be that. None of that has achieved anything. All it's achieved is Donald Trump, who just wants a peace prize. He just wants a Nobel Peace Prize because Obama has got it. With that sole bit of motivation, he has managed to achieve more than the raft of Western diplomacy has since the foundation of the State of Israel.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he's also blown apart a great big hole in the United Nations. Let's have a look at him talking at the UN just last month.
In a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars.
Compete with America's film industry at your own economic peril. The 100% tariff threat isn't just about bringing jobs back to Hollywood. It's about reasserting American cultural and economic dominance in a sector that shapes global perceptions and generates massive revenue. Trump understands that movies aren't just entertainment. They're cultural weapons that influence how the world sees America. By threatening countries that try to compete with Hollywood, he's protecting both American jobs and American cultural influence. Starmer's desperate trip to Mumbai proves that Trump's strategy is working perfectly. Instead of fighting American economic pressure, Britain is surrendering and looking for alternative partnerships that will never match what they're losing from American studios. The Yash Raj Films deal creates 3,000 jobs. American film production in Britain supported tens of thousands of jobs before Trump's tariff threat. The math is devastating for Britain's economy. What do you think? Has Trump successfully exposed Britain's economic weakness and forced Starmer into international humiliation? Is this the end of Britain's role as a major player in global film production? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this story shocked you as much as it shocked us, share it with everyone who needs to see what's really happening in the global trade war. The mainstream media won't tell you how completely Trump has outmaneuvered Britain's government, but we will.